EP. Hello, I'm Ethan. I'm 21 this year and I'm a year 2 medical student from the Connection School of Medicine. And today I just wanted to introduce some of my friends and capture some of their thoughts on some pertinent issues that some of us youth might be going through during this time. So today I have the opportunity to talk to Denzel and Ian. So if you all want, you can just introduce yourself to the camera.
You wanna go first?
Yeah, hi, I'm Denzel and I'll be commencing my studies with NUS this year, and I will be doing medicine. So one fun fact about me is that I remember names very well, and yeah, like people's name, not like names of, I don't know, med stuff. But yeah, that's one fun fact about me. About you.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Ian. I'm also an incoming freshman at NUS, and I'll be studying computer engineering under the Engineering Scholars Program. So one fun fact about me is that I actually had an episode of dengue fever during my secondary 4 days, and actually that's the only reason why Ethan and I are even friends now lah. So yeah, I just thought that's quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We met in secondary school, so that's where I first know. That's where I first found them and I talked to them as friends, and we got closer along the years lah. But today we're gonna talk about success, and I just wanted to know what they think about success and really maybe their thoughts, their ambitions, and their goals for the future. Yeah. So maybe we can begin by starting with something quite cliche lah. It's kind of, but I think you all know what I'm gonna ask you lah. So Denzel, maybe you can share with us a few things. It's quite exhaustive. Your primary school, your PSLE score, your secondary school, your JC, and your A-level score.
Okay, so I will start off with my primary school. So I was from Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary School, and yeah, I guess I was quite blessed as a kid because I was more or less in the top few classes ever since primary 1, and I've been doing quite well throughout my primary school life. And how much I got for PSLE? I think I got 262 plus 2, and yeah, it's a pretty good score. So yeah, it was quite smooth sailing even in secondary school. So when I went to secondary school, my MSG, so MSG is basically like the mean grade. So they take A1 is 1, A2 is 2, so you just add everything together and you divide by the number of subjects. So my MSG has always been pretty decent. It's always below 2, but there was once where I got 4 point something lah, cause Zack and Guang they let me cheat in Infocom. They freaking just pang me, then I fail. But yeah, apart from that, it was quite smooth sailing for me, and I even had the option to go to the special streams like SMTP, all these, but I'm glad I didn't. If not, I would have met you guys.
Wow,
so sweet.
Kinda gay, but okay.
No homo, but yeah. So secondary school was quite smooth sailing for me also. When you went to JC, that's when a lot of people started to struggle lah, because it was quite a jump from secondary school to JC. But even so, I wouldn't say I struggled much also. So I did pretty well, I guess, cause I was consistent. So there really wasn't any major obstacles I had to go through in JC. And yeah, up to A-levels, even my A-levels, yeah, I got 90. So yeah, I guess all went well up to that point. So yeah, that's my journey from primary school to JC.
Yeah, so for me I was in Tao school lah, from P1 to P6. I would say it was also quite smooth sailing. I played badminton lah in primary school, so I played competitively. I think from P3 all the way to not P3. I think P5 to P6 lah. But then I didn't. Okay, never mind. I just talk about my PSLE score first. So I got 263 plus 3 lah, which is it was quite surprising for me because I got distinction for higher Chinese lah. Because Chinese usually isn't my best, but yeah, you're just quite a welcome surprise. Yeah, but then so I DSA into Potong lah, through academics. Then I switched over to squash instead for my CCA. But I think all of us know how that turned out lah. But maybe we can talk about that later. Yeah, then MSG wise, like I was also consistently like 1 point something. Then I think probably moving on to JC, I think at the end of Sec 4 I got like 1.1, either 1.1 something or 1.2 something, I can't remember. Yeah, then JC continued with squash, and also decided to explore a bit of interest in like astronomy lah. So like I joined like astronomy club also.
What's your problem? Okay.
Yeah, in J2 lah. Then for A's I got 88.75, so like I got B for econs lah. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I think it's not really to flex or like to do anything, but it's more of to set the premise for what we're going to discuss later lah. So I guess I also would like to share about like my own journey. I was from actually I studied in Canada when I was a kid for primary 1 and 2. Then I came back to Singapore when I was primary 2, and I studied at this primary school, not Cedar Girls' School, it's Cedar Primary School. It's quite an irritating thing. A lot of people keep asking me this time. Then I went to St. Andrew's primary school, which is down the road from my house lah. And my PSLE score wasn't like as stellar as my friends. Like they got like 2.6 plus, but I just got like 2.44 like. It's not bad, but like this was one thing that I guess I kind of struggled with when I entered into Potong. Yeah, and I got into Potong through DSA lah, not really through my academics or my like any other way lah. I just got into DSA, and I played water polo for a long time lah. Then in Potong I was blessed with great teachers, and if you're comparing MSG, like I was struggling throughout like secondary school lah, up to about Sec 4. Like I was always like on the verge of like kind of falling into the O-level class, because Potong is an IP stream, right? And then afterwards I managed to do well enough to go to JC, Potong JC, and then from there I got I did quite well for A-levels too lah. We can talk about the different studying habits and stuff like that in later, but yeah, for A-levels I got 90 or so, same as Denzel. So like yeah, I think I'm just very blessed with like this path that I've been granted, and I've been blessed with people and teachers along the way that has given me these opportunities lah. And so today I just really wanted to understand like you guys and know like what success is to you guys, because like for maybe viewers outside or for various people in different walks of life, it might seem that for us, like for me being in med school a year 3 next year, hopefully and incoming freshman at NUS medicine, and also an incoming freshman with a scholarship for engineering, like it might seem like we are very successful in this pathway lah. Of course we know that there are different definitions of success, so I really want to go deep into like the nuances of what success is to all of us lah. So perhaps like I hope that as we discuss, you guys will understand, or you guys can have some insights in as to what we're talking about, or maybe you can pick some interest in whatever you're doing. Yeah, so I guess with that we can begin the Potong Pasir podcast. Oh, it's damn cancelled, but I will try my best. Yeah, so the question is what is success to you lah? Maybe I can get Denzel to answer first lah. You can talk about like what success is to you.
Okay, so actually everybody has a very different perception of what success is to someone. For some people it might be money, for some people it might be good results, for some people it might be happiness of everybody around him. So actually to me success hasn't always been like I didn't always have the same definition of for success. So like when I was schooling, obviously for most of us, to us success would be like having a good grade and like having a good CCA performance or this lah. But as of now, as I look back on my journey, I wouldn't think that I was very successful. I don't think I actually met what I define as success now. So what I define as success now is more of like self-actualization, as cliche as that sounds, like the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Yeah, so yeah, if you look at the top right, it's actually self-actualization, where you like realize your full potential, and it's actually very difficult to achieve, especially since you need to meet several criteria first. So I'm not very sure what the rest are. I know there's like the basic needs, then there's also the relationship and the self-esteem, all these. So all these are issues which people will struggle with, especially like people our age, I presume. So yeah, that's what success is to me, and I don't think I have reached my own definition of success as of now.
Is it because like there's some confusion as to like your identity or like what your purpose is in life or something like that? Like, yeah, maybe you could share a bit more.
As of now, I would say that I have a very clear idea of what I want my life to be like, at least for the next 10 years. So, but further on, I'm not too sure. But why I would say I'm not successful now is because I guess there's still quite a lot of stuff I'm working on, and like yeah, I don't know if I told you guys before, but I guess every one of us has a bit of self-esteem issues. So like all this kind of stuff is like people, you will be constantly working on it. And even if you do manage to get past a certain hurdle, there will always be new ones which appear. There will always be moments of self-doubt and like whether or not you're good enough. So to actually be satisfied with who you are now and not think about like all the other obstacles ahead, that's actually quite hard to achieve, I would say. So for me now, yeah, I don't think I have achieved that, but I'm still working on it. So yeah, that's why I would say I'm not successful now.
Very nice. I like your honesty. Thanks for sharing. And maybe we can move to Ian and like you can talk about like what success is to you. Honestly, we can just chill lah. You don't have to like be so tense. It's not an interview. It's just a conversation.
Yeah, okay. So like I think like quite a broad definition of success would be, I guess, like meeting a certain set of like expectations that you might set for yourself, or like broadly in life, being able to achieve like some aim or purpose that you've already defined for yourself lah, like something that you want to achieve in your life, right? So I think I also I actually I had this thought earlier, like how because of what you said, like you said that success when you were in school would be something like getting good grades, right? So I was just thinking like the definition of success probably is quite fluid, and it definitely changes with respect to like what season of life you find yourself in. So that's something that just came to me just now. And I think it's quite true also, because I think a lot of us are quite familiar with like the conventional understanding of success being like maybe earning a high salary, like holding a key executive position in like whatever organization that you're working in, right? And yeah, I think most of us can agree, yes, that can be success. But I think also there are many other circumstances that we don't really like instinctively attribute to success. So like for example, I thought of like this because like there's this local production last time like called Taxi. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Like it's basically about this guy. He was like a biology professor in Singapore lah. Then because of like the economic like recession back in 2008, right? Because of the
like Gurmeet Singh one.
Yeah, that one. So like basically he got retrenched lah. He's like a PhD and all that. So it's like very good qualifications, right? It's like set for life kind of thing. But as a result of being retrenched from like the economic downturn, right? He was forced to like work as a taxi driver, and like so basically he started blogging about his experiences and stuff like that, and that got him a lot of attention in Singapore lah. And ultimately he still managed to like secure, I think, a job as general manager in some biotech company. Yeah, which goes to show that like success can also be defined as like, I guess, the refusal to buckle and the refusal to give way to the pressures that life can give you sometimes, and also like that triumph and prevailing over very like harsh circumstances can also be defined as success lah. Because I mean ultimately there's success over like your circumstances, right? Yeah, so that is, to me, that's also success lah. Yeah.
It seems to me that like, you know, when we're talking about success, it becomes something that's quite broad, and it's something that we can't really attribute like maybe one word or one thing to it. But I guess for the purpose of this, I just want to like maybe ask if you could define success with one word for yourself, right, without thinking about the opinions of people out there, like how will you like phrase it? How will you coin it? Like what do you think like true success is to you? Let's say halfway through a career when you're in the 40s, like what do you think then would be successful? Like what do you think then would be success to you lah? Yeah.
Do you have your word?
Yeah.
I have mine now.
I have mine.
Okay, then you go first.
Yeah, okay, so the first word that came to my mind was satisfaction. Yeah. So to me, like as of now, if you can be satisfied with everything around you, and I would think that that's success for me.
Yeah, so like the word I thought of is like contentment lah. So it's also quite similar to like what you said lah. So it's basically being quite happy with what you have accomplished, which is also like probably something that gives you like fulfillment at the same time lah.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like I feel that when we think about like people in like their midlife crisis, right, like this is exactly what they don't have, right? Like they struggle to find purpose in things that they're doing. They're stuck in the mundane and they're just feel very broken because like they don't really see like a light at the end of the tunnel lah. And do you think that there's anything in this time that you can do, because you guys are waiting for university, right? Is there anything that like you think could affect this success in your life? Meaning like, do you think there are study habits that you can adopt during uni to perhaps improve the outlook of your future, or do you think there are any opportunities that you guys can look to take up, right, to allow for greater satisfaction in the future? So in a way, like my question is kind of revolving around like how important is the present in defining like your success in the future, and maybe what goals or what things you guys have in mind now, like before uni or even when you enter uni, that you think will help you in that course.
I think I'll just start talking about like study habits that would be good to adopt. So of course it varies from person to person. For myself, I would think that I have a very short attention span. So Pomodoro.
Dude, he watch Naruto during lecture every single time. Wow, okay.
No, never.
Lie.
I only pon school to go back to watch at the 2 p.m. Cartoon Network Naruto.
Wow, they're useless.
Yeah, but we'll get to that later lah. So yeah. I have a very short attention span, so Pomodoro is actually honestly is quite helpful for me. Like, you know what's that, right?
Yeah, you told me that time.
Yeah, because like you studying, then got that guy over there. Then when you want to use your phone, right, then you see the guy studying, then you're like, oh, okay, guess I have to study too.
It's because then you study at CSV uni, right?
Yeah lah, but honestly, it's like I think the intervals were pretty evenly spaced. So yeah, and I don't think if you just one shot try to mark everything, right, you cannot retain information one what. So yeah, that's one good habit which I probably would adopt in university. I don't think I did it in JC and secondary school lah. JC and secondary school, it was really just like, how did I study? I just whack. But I didn't really whack a lot because I was like consistent. So I didn't have to like cram everything into a few weeks before the exam, which I think that's very important for a lot of people, because a lot of people like during exam period they'll be like, oh shit, I'm mugging, you burn the midnight oil, all this kind of thing. I mean, I don't believe in that lah, cause how much information can you actually retain in that short amount of time? So yeah, the best habit I would say is to be consistent in your work. Yeah.
What are other questions that you
Yeah,
see?
it's just the question is just like, what do you think you guys can do now, right, to achieve like success in later life lah? Like,
okay.
so I was trying to frame it in like a university setting, like, because we know that studying now and studying hard gives you opportunities to choose, and I think what distinguishes like maybe the good and the great is the ability to choose. Like when you're at the end of like your A-levels and then you receive your results, being able to choose between multiple courses versus being stuck and like kind of confined to a few. I mean, it's a very big difference lah. It gives you to some extent like a bit more control per se over like your future law. So I guess like my question is, how do you think you can like work on yourself, or what do you think you can do now to allow for the satisfaction in the future?
Can I say something about it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was gonna say like, because from like ever since we ORD until like school starts, right?
Yeah.
We have quite a lot of time. So for those people who are not very sure of what they want to do in the future, like what they can do to perhaps increase their likelihood of achieving success in the future would be to go out and explore their interests and see what they actually want to do in life lah. Because most of the time after A-levels, especially for us JC kids, like we just take like the very generic subject like BCME, PCME, like how you know what you want to do sia. For like other people, perhaps in poly they will have a better idea of what they want their career to be like. So for us, I would think that going out there and exploring your options is one way you can actually like find what you truly want to do in the future lah. And even if you don't manage to find what you want to do, at least you will know, oh, I don't want to do this. So it's still meaningful. So
Yeah, so like I think I would say like actually like a very key thing is like trying your best to be, I guess, free or like unencumbered by like certain expectations that people in like your circle might place on you. Because I feel like that's especially like important in our local context, because I'm sure all of us are very, very familiar with the kind of expectations that our parents or friends might set on us sometimes. And I kind of feel like that also does place some restrictions on the kind of vocations that we look to undertake, even though it might not be our personal calling towards it. And so like I think that's quite a key point, but also very difficult to achieve lah. That one will probably take like quite a long time. But I think also like adding on to what Denzel said about exploring, so I think I feel like there shouldn't be like a rush to say like, oh, I'm already like 20 something, I should already know like what I'm supposed to be interested in. Because the thing is, even though that might be an idea that society tends to propagate, right, that obviously isn't true for like a lot of us, because some of these things like it takes time to elucidate and like review lah. So I would say don't like hold yourself to such a stringent expectation that I'm already a certain age, I need to know what I want already. And of course, to facilitate that self-discovery, right, I think we also live in a time when resources are like readily available to us. So like for example, for myself, like I think you guys are also quite familiar that like while medicine was one course that I was working towards also, like I did make it a point to consider very seriously what would be the alternative vocation or like course that I will go into. And I feel like me taking courses on Coursera about like machine learning and neural networks and all that, right, is something that kind of like confirmed to me also that yes, this is a field that I would potentially want to go into as well. And I think that kind of also really I guess facilitated my decision making in choosing to go into computer engineering as well. Like that's really a vocation that I think can be equally meaningful, because like I got explained to you before also lah, right, like breadth versus depth in terms of impact on healthcare and all that. So I
think that's great, like really thanks for sharing and I think the amazing thing is that because today like in some ways like I'm kind of blessed with this opportunity to like defer from medicine, because I got into my school LKC on the first try, and my friend Denzel he applied again lah, so that's why there's like this 2-year gap, like he's going in after he finished army. And I think like the opportunities that they were able to craft out for themselves in this time before they enter into university and after they finish their army, I think it's quite invaluable lah. And I'm just very thankful that you could share this, like maybe some advice or some tips with whoever's watching this lah. And I think like what they mentioned, like really having the guts to go and explore what you want to do instead of sticking with like our own cultural beliefs of what is prestigious, what is important to us. I think that's very important. But also another thing that I think we have to keep in mind is that each of us like in this time is very volatile, because like the gap from being a teenager, at least for JC kids, right, and like just taking a structured exam at the end of 2 years to the time where we're supposed to know how to be adults, like it seems very like the gap seems very big. the time that they give us is very small for this gap in knowledge that we're supposed to have. And I think like, it stresses me out as like someone who just going into uni without army, right? To have to suddenly pick up on things like financial literacy, like how to invest and things like that. Even talking about marriage, like BTO, this kind of thing. Some of my friends are like getting married and stuff like that, or like they are planning to get married, so they are like applying for like this BTO. And also like your goals in life, as a medical student, I'm very blessed to have like a very kind of secure path. But seeing my friends around me doing like what they call hustle and like interning during holidays, going to work part-time, like growing connections on LinkedIn or any various platforms, I think that inspires me lah. And I hope that like as we continue talking, we remember that like the path to being an adult is not a jump, but it is a long run lah. And that as you all go ahead and discover what you all are interested in, and go and learn about like various like adulting hacks and like insights and whatever, I think it's important to really fall back on why you want to do things and our purpose for these things lah. So I guess maybe we can shift the vignette back to these habits that we were talking about just now, because I didn't have the opportunity or the privilege to go through the full 2 years of NS until when I'm 25 or 26, which is disgusting. I'm gonna actually pass away, but like I guess maybe you can talk about like your experience like through national service, because from what I know, I do know that like there are some friends, at least in my JC, that may seem like they are quite privileged, and because of that they might struggle to communicate with the broader like society that NS like allows us to interact with. So like maybe you can tell me a bit more about maybe any interesting stories or things that help you all succeed or do well, or maybe even like things that really blew your mind during that time lah. Yeah, I'd like to hear it from the officer. G-Bat Chalet, bro.
Don't say that. I'm guarding our skies.
I cannot say that one.
Yeah, so for me, actually NS was a time where I honestly wouldn't trade for anything else. So on hindsight, in a way it was like a blessing to me for not like to get rejected by LKC and YLL in 2019, because if I didn't get rejected, I wouldn't have finished my course of NS, and I wouldn't have met like several people there who turned out to be friends, like they're obviously gonna be friends for life lah. So like I met some of my bestest friends there also. So throughout my whole journey, I think NS really gave me a lot of platforms and opportunity to learn more about myself, because like in OCS it was like everybody would have a chance to lead your batchmates. So like even if you are like introverted or whatever, you still will have the chance to do that. So it's through all these small IC roles where you actually know how to manage a large group of people, and it's even more so after commissioning, because it's no longer a batchmates, it's like actual people under you. You're actually responsible for people. So for me, I learned a lot about how to manage people. So I for one like to go down to the ground to see like what my guys are experiencing, so that when my superior like tries to implement random shit, I know how impractical and not feasible that shit is on the ground. So I think this is also like a major problem in society, because like a lot of people, it's easy to make policies on the top, but it's not easy to actually go to the ground and see how these policies affect the vast majority. So I think that's one thing I learned a lot from NS, because a lot of the rules they implement, right, are really damn jialat. Like it's like something happened, then they implement the rule to show that they are doing something to correct the problem, but they don't actually see the difficulties the people go through on the ground. So yeah, that was one thing which I learned in NS. And yeah, hopefully that made me closer to my guys lah. I mean like yeah, I hope they appreciate it. I mean I would for one if my superior came down to see like how things were being run, but he didn't lah. So
Kopi ah.
no lah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like I think I just want to start by saying that like your experience in national service is very much dependent on the kind of attitude you want to adopt towards it. Because I feel like sometimes the narrative that we hear sometimes is that NS is a waste of time, blah blah blah, right? And
2 years not very short.
and like I think the problem is that if you go into national service with like that kind of negative attitude, or like for whatever like reason, right, you find yourself like gravitating towards that mindset, right? Then yeah, obviously you're going to be placed in roles or positions where yes, it is indeed quite a waste of time, and you find that whatever work that you're engaging is quite meaningless. But I think so like I think it's quite important to adopt a very positive attitude towards national service, because like the moment you hold the view that whatever you're doing can be purposeful and can be meaningful, right, naturally something will come to you. And I think at the end of the day, like that really paves the way for like the most meaningful like experience that you can get lah. Because like I mean, when else in life are you gonna be like stuck in like, I guess, stuck in national service, like being surrounded by guys and all that, right? There's literally no other time in life they're gonna experience that. Yeah, so like I think maybe circling back to like my personal experience, so like I think in BMT, right, like usually there's this expectation that like, oh, everyone's supposed to go like OCS, right? Yeah, cause like of the prestige and all that. But personally, like I also had that ambition lah, right? Because like my dad was an officer, and my brother also went to OCS, so naturally I think that was an expectation that they had for me also. But for whatever reason I didn't go there lah, right? I was posted to SCS instead. But I think like honestly I wouldn't have traded this experience for anything else, because being able to graduate as a signal spec and also subsequently serving as a platoon sergeant in like my active C4I battalion, right, that gave me a very unique experience in like doing 24/7 manning duties, which I think wouldn't have been available if I was just in like a normal combat battalion, right? And I think also serving as a platoon sergeant, like it was also quite enlightening and illuminating in a sense, because it allowed me to understand that yes, I do derive a certain sense of satisfaction from nurturing and guiding and mentoring people under me. Like being able, so like to contextualize, like I was in charge of like imparting networking knowledge and also troubleshooting skills lah for like handling the army network. And it's like through this that I learned about myself that yes, I do enjoy these things lah. So like to wrap it up, it's just like I don't think I would have had it any other way lah. Yeah.
Speak through skill.
No lah, but I think it's also like because we're very privileged to have come from JC and like a good background, and that's why we were able to have such a fruitful NS experience. But there's also a lot of people out there who, even though they want to have such experiences, but they can't because of circumstances such as like perhaps injuries or like academics to a certain extent. So yeah, in a way I don't think it's very fair for us to say that, or I mean it definitely is fair to say that your NS experience is like what you make out of it, but there are people out there who actually just bo pian. They really cannot do anything about it. Like they post in, they are like destined to do saikang for the whole 2 years. No lah, like why I say this is because like I have quite a lot of people under me, because my appointment in my unit was motorized transport officer lah, so I was in charge of like the vehicles and all the drivers. So like some of them are really very solid people, and I honestly think they would have thrived in like command school and all these, but they just didn't have the opportunity to like go lah. So in the end they ended up just going to transport course, then they park. Then like honestly what can they have possibly learned there sia? So yeah, it's also very dependent on like your circumstances lah, and I guess we're all very blessed and lucky to have this experience.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
I think that's great. I think that's great that you all shared this. I really enjoyed like listening to like the what's your problem? The different stories that you all mentioned lah. Like I wouldn't say it's the first time that I've heard it, but like it doesn't get any less impactful every time I hear it again lah. And I think that like it's really good insights that you all made lah. Cause you know like what Denzel said, there are always circumstances that will come and like that are unexpected, that might come and hurt us or harm us. Like maybe you don't expect like a breakup, or you don't expect like a friend leaving you, or maybe you don't expect like a family like accident that happens, right? But I think what's important is really like I want to reiterate what Ian said, or like how you know, no matter what, like there's always something that you can approach it with a spirit that may be thankful, a spirit that can like allow you to learn something or gain something from it lah. Yeah, so yeah, it's actually quite nice to hear like how people go through NS, cause like I wouldn't say I regret, but like you know it's something that I low-key missed out on, and I feel like it's a bit more difficult for me to relate to some of my peers like in that regard, cause like you know OCS, SCS, even being a man or whatever, like it's I don't even know what the hell is going on in NS lah. But yeah, I think it's good that you guys like approach like these different like areas of life. So maybe we can talk about like my forte, which is uni, right? Like yeah, maybe we can talk about like what you're interested in, or maybe what you're looking forward to in uni. Ian, you want to start first?
Yeah, so like just now I was sharing a bit about machine learning and like neural networks, right? So like personally I'm probably looking towards okay, maybe I can like start off with talking about how I even arrived here in the first place. So like it was actually during like the pandemic, so like I became quite I came across like an article saying that like Google's like they have this DeepMind subsidiary of Google that has a smart program called AlphaFold, which actually helped to predict like COVID-19 protein structures lah, which I've found to be quite meaningful because it accelerated vaccine development and also diagnosing and all that. And so that really like piqued my interest lah. So I made a deliberate effort to find out more about how technology is already improving healthcare in like different aspects. So it can be things like computer vision to have like dermatologist level detection of melanoma, which is skin cancer, right? Yeah, and also like no, because I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Yeah, and also things like analyzing blood flow patterns to predict like the risk of stroke relapse in patients, which are all like extremely meaningful ventures also lah, right? Like they address a different side of things, which is a breadth of impact on people, which is I think in contrast to depth in medicine lah, right? And so I think probably by going into computer engineering, right, I'll probably go towards the AI machine learning side to work on healthcare technology. Yeah, that's for me lah.
That's great. How about this?
I mean this might sound quite nerdy lah, but because you know like I've been working in a clinic since I ORD, then like I'm lucky to have like my doctor who actually cares a lot about teaching the next generation. So like he will try to teach me some stuff, but it's all in bits and pieces, and like I kind of don't understand most of it at first. So as I gradually, I mean like I was in Monash lah, so I did learn a bit. So some of the stuff he said to me started to make sense, and I just found that very interesting and fascinating lah, that you can relate what you've learned in the textbook to like real life diseases and conditions. So I guess that's one thing which I'm kind of looking forward to in uni. And yeah, and of course I mean like now I can say that I'm looking forward to clinicals, but I don't know, maybe you can tell me more about it after your clinicals, whether or not it's something to look forward to. So yeah, that's actually what I'm kind of looking forward to. And away from ACADS, I'm also kind of looking forward to like perhaps hall life.
Whole life.
Yeah, because
Enjoy.
one thing which I regretted in JC and to a certain extent secondary school
Boarding
is
is it?
boarding was one of it, and like because just as Ethan said just now, after school I always just
You said it yourself.
after school, like school end at 2, then I just go home watch Naruto. Like that was in secondary school. Then even in JC, it was really just like I go training, then during seasons I'll just go training, then I'll just eat my team, then go back. So I didn't really have a lot of time to
Can and review.
I didn't really have a lot of time to like sort of like socialize,
Yeah.
I guess. So yeah, that was one of my regrets. So hopefully hall would be better. Can laugh at people. Yeah, so yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
Hall.
Actually, we can talk about that. Like, what are your expectations for like hall or like on campus like residence? Yeah. Like CCAs that you might join or like.
RC.
Yeah, so for me, like, I'm gonna stay at RC4 lah, you guys know, right? Then I guess for RC4 it's just like, okay, personally, right, even before getting the offer for e-scholars, right, like RC4 is a place that I really wanted to stay. Like, I was gonna apply for RC4 anyway already. So like the reason why I wanted to apply is because I find like the pedagogy there like quite interesting lah. Like they try to approach every single discussion with breaking it down into systems. That's why they call it systems thinking. And like it's because of like this pedagogy that drew me towards the RC lah. So like for me, there's an academic aspect to RC that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And I guess for like interest groups and CCAs and all that, number one is like you shared with me like a while back that it's important to be grounded in communities that like you can be accountable to and to be anchored in lah. So I'll probably join like the Varsity Christian Fellowship, which I think is broken down into like the different faculties and also the different residences. So like there's definitely one for like the RCs in NUS lah. So like that's probably one that I will join. Then for CCAs it'll be like I might play squash or badminton for RC4 lah, but I don't know yet cause that depends on like my physical condition. Yeah.
Astronomy club.
I don't think RC4 is.
Okay.
Yeah lah, yeah, that's it.
What was your question?
It's just like what you want to do in like
What I want to do in hall.
What you're looking forward to in hall.
Yeah, so actually I didn't really intend to stay in hall. It's actually Sean put me in. Yeah, so what I plan to do in hall is probably just play table tennis and maybe pick up one or two other sports and maybe some, I don't know, if they have like some volunteering club I might join lah. And cause hall right, for you to stay 2 years you need to accumulate like hall points.
Yeah.
So as of now I'm still not very sure whether or not I want to stay 2 years. So if I end up liking the vibe there, I might try a bit harder to secure more positions, maybe go for like captain, something like that. Yeah, but if I don't intend to stay for 2 years, then I'll just take it easy and chill lah. So yeah, but one major concern I have is juggling hall activities and like schoolwork, because hall got a lot of stuff to do, then school also got a lot of stuff to do. On top of that, you still have a lot of stuff you want to do on your own. So like tell me how you gonna balance, like let's say school ends. Actually, what time does school end for
Depends,
you?
but I think it can end latest like 6+ for you.
On average, okay, on
Maybe
average,
like 3-4.
on average, let's say school ends at 4, then you freaking Yusof Hall is on the opposite side of the campus of NUS Med. What the heck? Why even go? Kidding. But
Sean Yip lah.
no lah. I like Yusof cause okay. So why I chose Yusof was not only because Sean asked me to go, but because like I want to do sports in uni. So and Yusof is a sports hall, so yeah, it's a very good avenue for me to like pursue sports lah. Yeah, compared to like other halls which may be more skewed towards the arts and dance or this. So that's why I chose Yusof lah. And back on so I'll just back on the topic of like coping. You see, like let's say school ends at 4, then you by the time I reach back hall it's like 5, then I go for one C_C_A, perhaps 2 hours. 2 hours it's like 7 already. Then what if I decide to pick up more than one C_C_A, I need to have like another 2 hours spent on that C_C_A. So where do you find the time to study? And and I was talking about being consistent, right? So you definitely need to like set aside a certain amount of time to study in like even in hall. And it might be a bit tough considering like, you know, hall, like there might be peer pressure, all these. They'll be like, supper, supper. Yeah, so all these kind of things, like it's very, I don't know if I can cope lah. So hopefully I can, but that's one of my major worries.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's like good to see your expectations for university and for hall. I think for me, like if there's anything I want to share, would be like perhaps my own experience in this lah. Like, so LKC, medicine, NTU. NTU is not in Singapore. It's in another country, but
I came there.
dude, it's disgusting. It's damn far.
Lim Chu Kang.
So like in year 1 before COVID hit the fan, right? I had a lot of like activities and like lessons in the NTU campus lah, which is, my goodness, like an hour 30-minute MRT ride from my house.
Need passport or not?
Actually, okay, whatever. But so I decided to stay in my hall lah. My hall is called Pioneer Hall. So it's different university, NTU, NUS. So Pioneer Hall is one of the newer halls lah. I don't know lah. They want to give us like the newest best hall, whatever. So sure, I'll take it. It's a reserved spot. And I think I got my feelings a bit cheated because I signed up for a double room with aircon. But my roommate only moved in like 2-3 months later, like for both year 1 and year 2. So I had like the inkling that I had a big room for a bit, but then like it just got taken away in like seconds. But apart from that, like I joined water polo. I played for them and I brought home, like, I can't even say brought home, I brought the gold medal to Pioneer Hall for the first time in the history of Pioneer Hall, which is amazing, I hope. But okay lah, whatever lah, it's just a side thing that I do lah.
Wait, as in Pioneer's been losing or what?
No, it's because Pioneer's a new hall.
First.
Like it only started in 2014.
Uh-huh.
So polo was like quite a new sport also. Like for Pioneer Hall lah.
So that was Pioneer Hall's first participation in.
First few, but first gold medal in Pioneer Hall for everything.
Flex.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a stupid little like bragging right that I have lah. But I think hall is good because like you're exposed to more people, especially for Denzel lah. Because in medicine, like it's really you're kind of on your own. Your faculty is like a faculty on itself lah. Maybe NUS has more opportunities to talk to students from like dentistry or nursing, but for LKC is really purely us on our own lah. Our 150 people in one batch, and maybe perhaps our seniors and juniors, but most of the time we're just standing on our own. It's just that we are under the umbrella of NTU. So it allows me to interact with some people from other faculties like engineering, like business, and for NTU, NIE students also lah. Although I haven't really been keeping in contact with these people, I still thought it was nice that I had these friends around lah, and I could hear their experiences lah. But I'm not really like the best person to ask for hall, because like I kind of backdoor into the hall the second year. Like for water polo, right, my captain for year 1 knew half of the exco of the hall, and this other guy in my batch also knew the other half of the exco. So obviously the whole water polo team got another spot in hall. Yeah, but I think it was a fun experience lah. Although most of the time I was cooped up in my room, I feel like there's a lot of potential that you can achieve staying on campus lah. Because for me, I'm not privileged. Okay, I won't say not privileged lah, but I don't really have my own room. And to some extent, that gave me a bit of privacy, like alone to think about things lah. And I think that helped me quite a bit. And I mean, it's quite convenient lah. Maybe not for Denzel lah, because it's the opposite side of the campus. But it's quite convenient to stay near where you're studying lah, especially if you stay far away. And maybe moving to university, I like how you guys have these ambitions and thoughts about what you want to achieve. But honestly speaking, university, right, is really quite dry. like what you are pursuing, there are very interesting things, there are amazing things, but there's a lot of foundations that need to be built and revisited daily and like day in and day out for you to reach that level where you can be an expert, or you can even like go and talk to people about these things or learn about these things. Like for a more conventional uni course, not medicine, like you don't have a fixed timetable. You get to choose your modules, and there are some modules that you have to complete to attain your degree.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, I feel like most of the modules you might not have like a very deep interest per se, but I guess for me, what I could advise or say is just like, just be consistent, or you try to do your best in everything you can. It sounds quite lame, but if we are able to live a consistent like routine life with a balance of play and work, right, where you're able to have fun with your friends and also study like daily, maybe 1.5 hours or something, like it makes like studying for exams a lot easier. And since uni is like a 4-year hall of like a consistent grading system where everything matters for Ian, and I think that's very important. And I guess for medicine also, like same, or like a lot of things are very dry because you don't really see the point in them. Like for me, like I don't get why we have to learn the freaking crap cycle. Like, you know, we're gonna go to the clinic and like go and talk to patients about your oxaloacetate or got problem, or like this kind of things. I mean, yes, it might have important like role in teaching us some core concepts, but at the start it might seem like it's very irrelevant, or it might seem like it's so dry. Like, what's the point of like learning, like, you know, all those names of parasites, or like names of like some antibiotics? But I think eventually, as we enter into the workforce, this will come back to help us to do us good lah. So I guess like how I like to see things is with forward thinking. I like to see how we can apply this in the future. So I guess like if things are dry, or things are difficult, or things are very tiring, I feel like you really go back to what we discussed just now about what success is to you, what you want to achieve, which is contentment and satisfaction. So I guess for me, I feel that to achieve this level of like satisfaction or contentment, like drawing ideas from you guys, I feel one thing that is crucial is competency and excellence. Like, not necessarily in grades. Like, I don't want to say this as if like we are like, you know, those privileged sitting on a high horse, that white man on a white horse, and whatever that like the Americans like to put it. But I feel that when you are competent in what you believe in and what you're doing, and you try to excel as much as you can, you earn credibility. And when you earn credibility, you have options. You have people you can trust, and people will trust you. And yeah, I think it's good to really dwell on what you guys have said, and really write down or remember like exactly what is your driving force. Yeah, and I think like throughout uni there'll be a lot of times where you doubt yourself. Like what Denzel said, self-actualization. There's a lot of times that we doubt why we're doing this. Like when we're studying freaking like medicine, like we're studying like biochemistry, like the different names of all these like products in our body. We think like, what's the point of this? Like, this is so painful. Like, it's only year 1 and we're going through so much shit. But then remember that this might eventually help us to save a life, or for engineering maybe you remember your ultimate objective or your goal, like to design something, or to like be maybe a pioneer of a certain industry. Like, I think these are very grand schemes and grand goals that are good to have, but also good to remember when we're down. Don't just but also the caveat in that is to not allow that to overwhelm us, or use that to like compare ourselves to others. I think the big thing that we're probably not gonna talk about today, maybe another time, is imposter syndrome, like where you don't really think you deserve a place. Like for me, like being an absolute piece of shit. Sorry, I can't say that. Like being someone that wasn't really that respected in JC and even secondary school. Like for me to achieve a place in med school, like, you know, I go touch people's insides next time, like cut open and like save their life, you know, perhaps. It's just crazy, like it's really crazy to think about these things. So it's painful to compare ourselves to each other. It's not that it's bad, but if you use that as your identity, then it's quite scary because you never really know who you are. And I guess one last thing that I want to mention is, like what Ian said, community. I feel that as we grow older, like if we observe our friends, or our older friends, or our parents' friends, right, I don't know, like the common trend is that they don't really have a lot of friends. Like they don't really have like a lot of close knitted friends as compared to, let's say, our class in secondary school, or compared to when we were in NS. We have so many friends that surround us. We're always surrounded by community, and we take that for granted because like there's really no need in a way for community because everyone is like bopian. You have to be there for each other. You don't really see the. But in uni, when everyone specializes in their course, right, like it pains me to say this, but like when I see that our paths will diverge in the future, like me and Ian, and even me and like my other friends in school, like it's hard. It will eventually be a lot harder to relate to each other on deep issues lah. Like how am I gonna explain to someone that I literally witnessed someone die if they don't have never seen it before? Or how is my friend from engineering gonna explain to me some mathematical concept that they cannot crack? Like yeah, it's just hard to relate lah. But having community to keep you grounded in firstly your identity and what you believe in and your purpose, I think that's what drives me going forward lah. So yeah, I don't know. This was kind of a long monologue, but like I don't know. I hope that blesses you guys lah, like in whatever way, and like you guys remember that like no matter what, if you have community, right, like they will keep you in check. They will keep you grounded. They will like push you forward lah. Yeah, which is something that I lacked a lot in year one. Like I had like one friend, but then I guess thank God I managed to earn, and I was blessed with so many new friends lah in second year lah. I think my friendship like level like maybe like times 30 ah. I think I have 30 friends now. Yeah. So I guess like maybe we can kind of close off this session with like maybe some more thoughts on like your fears on university law. I think maybe then like as you or as y'all look on this video, right, and you watch this video or think about this video, like you remember like the thoughts that you had before you got into uni lah, and maybe eventually you can think about what you can do to address these fears. Yeah. If you're ready, you can share. If not, I can start first lah. Okay, maybe I can start first lah.
Okay.
Right. So I feel like when I entered uni, what I was afraid of was like being alone, which kind of came to pass lah. Cause like all my friends are in NS, and I don't know. I think I expended too much energy during orientation, and that kind of made me very fatigued. And maybe also some like very subtle hurts that I had from my past that affected the way I related to people. So yeah, that was one of my biggest fears though. Yeah, I faced it. I was challenged with it, and I lived through it for 1 year. But I think really by grace, I was able to like discover so many new friends and so many communities in school that really bring me to a better place lah. Yeah. How about you?
I think I said this in my friend's YouTube video.
Nasty Dynasty.
Yeah. Go check him out. Nasty
Lame.
Dynasty.
I didn't even know that guy, but
Nasty Dynasty. Good channel. But yeah, cause like for me, being able to study in like NUS medicine is like really a privilege lah, because in a way I went through quite a lot to get to where I am. What's wrong with you? So like naturally I would think that I would be very driven and motivated to do well in the course, but I guess I'm afraid that halfway through the course I might end up like experiencing burnout. I mean, burnout is normal, but if you burn out too many times, right, then you go like, wow, shit, actually why am I doing this? I mean, at least for us, I don't think we will have the option of dropping out because you need to pay freaking
500k.
I think 600. I saw.
Yours is 600.
I just signed yesterday.
Oh, mine is 500.
For basket, 636k. What the hell? Like, obviously nobody will drop out lah. 636k. But
Wait, that's a subsidy, is it? That the government gives?
That's the
Yeah.
bond lah.
Damn.
it's the liquidated damage or something.
Oh yes, yes.
Wow,
If you complete 5 years, then you drop out at the end, then it's the whole course you enjoy.
Wow, like legit painful. Then I see already, yeah lah, but it's unlikely that I'll drop out. But that's the thing. Imagine like you are stuck in this course, then you suddenly lose all motivation, but you can't drop out. In a way, that's more. I'm sure most medical students face this innate fear. I mean, have you ever thought of this? I don't know.
Like losing my drive for medicine.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that you did, but have you ever thought what would you do if you lost the drive for medicine? You can't. There's no way out already, right?
I think
Yeah,
for that my remedy was what I said just now about knowing my desires and my purpose. Lor. That helps me to keep in line what I'm thinking of. Lor. So because if like you really have a strong like a foundation or a reason why you want to do stuff, right? When you look back on it, like it will motivate you to continue pushing forward. Lor. Yeah. I guess that's my remedy lah. But yeah, you
As in, for me, like, I definitely will fall back on, like, the main reason why I want to do medicine.
Yeah.
To, like, basically ground my beliefs lah. But what if, what if, like, it's easy to say now that I will remain motivated, and when I question myself, when I'm in self-doubt, I'll just go back to why I chose this path in the first place.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's like what most people who eventually burnt out thought at first. So like, yeah, I guess it's just fear.
Yeah, I mean, all our fears are valid lah. I thank for sharing. I hope that like as we go forward, we learn to continue to bolster our reason for why we're doing things, because like that's really the thing that drives all of us. Like if there's no reason for doing things, then there's really just no point doing it. Right? So I guess as you go through your first 2 years, and then your subsequent clinical years, like you see the purpose and the joy of doing stuff lah. And I think it's a journey. It's not like shit, I got it. This is gonna be me for the rest of my life. Cause there's always things that is changing. Success is fluid. So like, that's good. I'm glad we talked about it. How about Ian?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say like it's not really a fear, but I guess something that I'm more apprehensive about, because I think, I mean, as you guys know, like up until last week, the option of potentially being in medicine was still available, right? And so there wasn't exactly, like I basically I didn't have the past few months to seriously consider or even think about what the next 4 years in computer engineering are going to be like. I haven't had that time and space to really think about it seriously, because there's no point thinking about it if I do eventually get into medicine, right? So I didn't have that chance. So as a result, I think as of right now, things are definitely a bit more blurry. I think I also talked to you before about how in comparison to medicine, like that when you do graduate as a doctor, like after your 5th year, right, like it is defined in clearer terms what role you're going to be playing, right? You know for a fact that yes, I'm going to be first and foremost like a physician taking care of patients in the wards in the hospital, right? But I feel like that level of clarity, that level of like specification isn't immediately like apparent to me right now, before even matriculating into computer engineering, because like yes, while I might have certain ideas about what kind of engineer I'm going to be in the future, right, there's really a lot of like factors that can change lah. Whereas like for medicine, it's like you know you're going to be a doctor, you know what I mean? Regardless of what experience you're going to have, right, you're going to be like a doctor. You know what you're going to do. So like that ambiguity and uncertainty for what the future holds is something that's a bit daunting to me lah. And also like I guess also like the need to hustle, because like the fact is that for most courses, there's going to be a very compelling need to do well in, of course, your studies and also like your internships, because for a lot of people, like they try to convert their internships into full-time positions, right? So like I think that's something that is once again like quite daunting for me lah, because like that I feel like that same thing isn't really applicable to medicine. So like for computer engineering, that's definitely one thing that's also quite intimidating to me right now lah.
Thanks for sharing lah. I think today we covered quite a lot of content, and I really got to, I think to some extent, know you guys even better. And I think like as we move forward, you can like continue thinking about like what's important to you, and like continue to find people that you can trust, and people that you can like have community with. And I guess like with that, like I can kind of close off this like Potong Pasir podcasting. I think it's really just like a little small project that I want to do with my friends. So I'll probably be inviting a few more pairs of friends to come and like talk to me about various issues that are important to me. If you guys really have a better suggestion of a name other than bloody Potong Pasir podcast, please let me know. You can text me or you can like comment in the comment box below lah. But I think that's a disclaimer lah. Our definition of success is not exhaustive. It's not It's not something for you guys to compare yourselves to, because we were privileged to have this very smooth sailing path. I guess we can say it's very smooth sailing lah. Like for me, like apart from my primary school, like once I got into Potong, it was kind of guaranteed to some extent. Like if I worked hard enough, that I would have a secure spot in university lah. And it's not the case for everyone lah. And I feel that like for people who may have different paths to their own success, or like different paths to achieving what they want to do in life, like it won't be the same as us. Your fears are different, and I respect that. I think that's something amazing too. But for today, I just wanted to visit and really dabble a bit on like the thoughts and the nuances of like success in successful people. And I thought it was very amazing that I could capture my friends' thoughts in this time where like they haven't entered into uni, and it's a crossroad lah. And I think that's just like something so precious. Like it's just like a 6 months gap, 6 to 8 months gap between being a NS man to being like kind of in a way almost a full-fledged adult lah. And I hope that like as we continue to be friends. Yeah, so my camera battery died last. Whatever, but yeah, like I was saying, I think it's an amazing thing that I could capture my friends' thoughts in this time where they haven't entered into uni and they're still thinking about their future lah. So I hope that in the future pairs that I bring on this show, like we will continue to talk about important things, and we continue to just perhaps like bring some insight into your lives lah. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that like what we said is relevant to you guys. And I just like to thank Denzel and Ian for coming today on like busy Tuesday afternoon. They were coming to this with me lah. Yeah. So anything you want to say? Any last words?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Should we like
Up to you lah. Do whatever you want.
everyone say bye or something?
Bye.
Okay, bye.
JTCK bro. Actually, that was like quite fun. Like, I didn't expect it to be so chill. How do you think?